religious and absolutely up and up. And if you never have more than $1,000 in any of your private accounts, including your wife, and all of your assets are actually in other people's names, so you don't actually own anything, that's not sussy at all. That is good management of your money, and that makes Mike Johnson relatable. I'm speaking about.
It sounds a little socialist, you know. I mean, aren't you supposed to build up your money and have it all in your own name? And but he has it's like controlled by other people. It's
funny. They employ socialism when it's monetarily beneficial for them. Mm. But for all of us, we don't need schools. We don't need firefighters or roads to drive on or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, one of the, nice things about like careening into the abyss in the first quarter of the 21st century is that slowly, because they have accumulated so much power, these nut jobs will stop trying to deceive us as much because they just don't care anymore. I mean, they've essentially, in so many ways, gotten what they want, so they won't even bother to use the excuse of socialism anymore because at this point, who is that really fooling? Like a couple of old guys who watch Fox News, and the number of those people will be, cut in half by the Grim Reaper in another 10 years. So, I mean, really, that's one thing that we can cling to, is that at least the facade is being stripped bare as we head towards the apocalypse.
But my problem is, I hate saying this. He's not glitching fast enough.
He is not, no.
It's just not glitching fast enough. I do have a silver lining with George Santos. In order to receive a pension from your time in Congress, you have to be a representative of either house for at least 5 months. And he is not going to make it if they get rid of him, which would be an incentive to call your representative if you are in New York and make that so taxpayers don't have to pay him a pension.
5 months? He has to be in for 5 months? That's the deal?
Yes. So let's make sure that I don't like to side with the Republicans.
Is it 5 months? Because he was in office since January, right? So that would be, yeah.
You know what? I could be wrong, guys. Never mind.
It's interesting.
Something there.
It's interesting. Like we will do some research and we will find out like what the time limit is. It's fascinating because I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Republican leadership like timed it so that like they got rid of him one day after he passed that mark. Just so that they could like say, let's get rid of this guy.
That would be chef's kiss.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't that be something? But that's how. No matter how many months it is, that is how they will time it because they just want this guy to go away, not bother him anymore. And if he has that pension, then he could go off and start a podcast or whatever he decides to do with the rest of his time.
Absolutely, and you know what? More power to him because he's been grifting his whole life.
Yeah.
Using fake identities, taking money from his campaign donors, like the people who are feeding you, and then you double and triple charge them, and then you refuse to refund the money to the point where it makes it into the news. And let's not forget, what was he buying on OnlyFans? I really want to know. Like everybody skips over that.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
I want to know.
Who's he watching?
What's his kink? What's happening there? Because like you mentioned, all these cocaine parties that they're doing. And then we had the sex ring that just came out in DC. And some elected officials have been paying for it. By the way, they got caught. Oh, this is beautiful. This is like, remember like back in the 90s when it was like Fox had the world's dumbest criminals or whatever, or criminals are stupid.
Right.
Because your elected officials are stupid too. In order to get on this list, to get these high-end services for sex, which is shocking to me that they would have to pay for it with all that power and money that they have, but go figure, they still have to pay for it. Anyway, they get a menu, but in order to get all of that stuff and their membership, they had to give their name, phone number, email address, and credit card information. So we know exactly who these people are. Now, the Justice Department hasn't released any details. Obviously, they're still investigating, but we will find out probably in about a year, maybe, hopefully more or less, rather. Right. But this stuff is going on. And we know that people get pushed out of their seats for speaking out against it. Maybe they think it's clout on a podcast, but it ends up costing them their job. And now Santos is doing crazy stuff and on OnlyFans. Like, what is up with people on Capitol Hill being weird?
Yeah.
Like, no, eyes wide shut weird.
Well, I mean, look, if the Speaker of the House of Representatives can have accountability with his son, then shouldn't it be required for people in such high positions of power to have accountability with the American people? Can we have access to that software so that we can find out exactly what websites they are going to and how much time they are spending on those, and like what they're paying for that? We should have access to the same information that Mike Johnson's son has access to, and we should be receiving email alerts whenever they visit sites or parts of sites that are unaccountable, so to speak.
And I want to know, where's my $174,000 a year going?
Yeah.
Where is it going? Is it going to OnlyFans, and what for?
Yeah, exactly. I really want to find out, like, when I'm digging here and I haven't found it yet. But I have found this. It probably doesn't have the information about George Santos and his pension, but he did say at some point, I'm reading from Newsweek from January of this year, House Republican George Santos wanted to get elected to Congress so he would get a pension and health care for the rest of my life, according to a man who claimed to be his ex-housemate. So clearly, that was at the forefront of his mind, and I know that plays a role in it because, what is the ultimate American dream? To not have to pay the ridiculous, healthcare expenses that are a result of not having, single payer healthcare, not having Medicare for all, which the Congress won't have you. And what better way of doing that by being a member of Congress just barely long enough so that you get the kind of healthcare that nobody else has access to.
It makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
Like I said, this guy has been stealing identities. He's been lying. He doesn't have a college degree. He doesn't have any ties to Goldman Sachs. They've never heard of the man. He goes by multiple names depending on what grift he's got going on or what fake charity he's representing, which actually is a funnel right straight to his bank account. So, that's right. That's on brand. That
Very
I would
much
expect
so.
Nothing less. In fact, if he wasn't doing that, I would suggest that he do that, because you're not thinking this evil villain thing all the way through, all the possibilities. Absolutely. Get a job so you can get the health care that we all want and we pay for, but you can't get until you get into this office.
And
why not?
I have the answer here. This is from a New York Times story 2 hours ago, as of this recording. Leaving Congress would mean giving up his $174,000 annual salary as legal bills pile up. His financial situation would not be eased by a congressional pension either. Members must serve 5 years to receive one. So there we go. And he doesn't stand a chance at that. You see, That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to serve 3 terms, and he didn't even get through the first one. He may get through one. Too bad. Sorry, George. Try again later. Oh, boy. Well, at least that is one nice thing that has happened this week, the downfall of George Santos. How precipitous it will be, we have yet to see. But I know that if anything happens, you will hear more about it on this week's episode of This Week Again with Susanne Posel. Susanne, thank you so much. You can get Susanne's podcast, This Week Again, on any major podcasting platform, be that Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeart, et cetera, please go there. Please listen. Please rate and review it positively. And Susanne, thank you, as always, for hanging out with us on Facepalm America.
Oh, I treasure these moments, all 41 of them. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Susanne.
Take care.
I want to thank Ace Elson and Rosabelle Hine, who are the producers of this program. Remember, you can go to facepalmamerica.com and get past episodes so that you can listen to them and connect with us on social media. And until next time, enjoy the day.